Welcome to the Chaos Sector. First, before I go any further, our simulation is a retroactive presentation. It is not a current analysis. We've pretty much wrapped that up in the previous series. Let's continue with the simulation.
Yes, come in.
You wanted to see me, sir.
Have a seat, detective. Listen, John, I know how you feel. But this is for the best. We are in a tough spot here. The town demands answers, the family and friends demand answers, the university is in a state of hysteria. We have to make this go away quickly. I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. I decided to remove you from the case. I'm sorry.
What? You can't do this. What is the reason?
I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot I can't share with you. You are a great detective, but this is above my chain of command. Everyone has orders, I'm no different. We all fall in line somewhere on the totem pole. You're very intelligent, I'm sure you know what this means.
It sounds like you've lost your passion, sir. This is not the chief I knew. I mean, this case has become a nationally covered investigation. Let us do our job. Don't you want justice?
Now you hear me and hear me well. I've been doing this for a very long time. I've seen everything you can imagine. How do you think I became chief? I worked my ass off to get to this position. You and your smart-mouth sidekick were drinking beers in college, detective, so watch that tongue of yours. I've taken you off the case. I will speak to Joe right after. That's final. If you feel it's unacceptable, you can always turn in your badge. I will not tolerate insubordination. Do I make myself clear?
But Chief, why would you?
Okay, so I'm clear. I have another case for you, involving a shooting on the east side of town. Take your sidekick, and do your job. Oh, and one last thing, if I weren't chief, I wouldn't hesitate to fight for those victims. My heart is with you, but my mind has to think about the consequences. If you ever reach this mountain, you'd realize that what you observe below you is not as easy to deal with as it seems.
With all due respect, sir, I will take the case, but that heart you speak of is not dedicated to it. But I will do what I'm commanded to do.
Good. When you follow orders, you will see that everything works out in the end. Even if it appears there is no light at the end of the tunnel, remember, it is a tunnel. All you have to do is keep traveling through that tunnel, and you'll reach the exit. Cynthia will be briefing you and Detective Joe on the new case. She should be emailing you later this morning. That's all.
Come on, answer the damn phone.
You have reached the voicemail of, "Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?"
Hey Joe, the chief took us off the case. We have a shooting on the east side.
We knew this would happen. It's going exactly as planned. But what did he tell you about the investigation?
He literally admitted everything about covering up the murders. He tried to convince me that somehow justice will come in the end, but that was a bunch of philosophical bullshit.
Yeah, his pride won't allow him to look weak. Even with conceding to a cover-up, he still has the nerve to talk tough. Classic. He might want to watch his steps, because the FBI will have no problem letting him go down before they do, if this ever gets exposed.
I understand his predicament, but we swore to protect and serve the people. When shit hits the fan, that oath is challenged. You have to step up to the plate. Listen, the chief wants to talk to you next, so I guess you can speak to him yourself. Knowing you, he might ask you to hand over your badge. Don't overreact, and just allow everything to unfold as planned.
I might get suspended, but it would be worth it. I gotta run some errands. Keep me updated on Jane's investigation.
All right, I'll check my email for Cynthia's briefing.
Talk later.
Yes, come in.
How are you doing, Detective John?
Oh, Chief, I thought you were sending me the briefing. Is there something else we need to discuss?
You know why I'm here, right? Or do you? Listen, I know what you guys have planned. The chief may not see it, but I know. I understand, I really do. But we have our orders, let us just follow them, okay? There are too many hands touching the surface. I understand they are not to be trusted. In my 10 years in the States, I have noticed a lot of corruption in government, many police departments, and politics. People with positions of power control the means of operations. You have to keep this in mind.
It's hard, Cynthia. How can we just sit back and allow the truth to be swept under the rug like that? We have to do something, right? Isn't this what we signed up for? What's the point if we don't follow through?
Sometimes we don't get the good ending, John. It comes with the territory. This type of corruption exists all over the world. Crimes are committed, and sometimes the perpetrator is never brought to justice. Wealth, power, exceeds far beyond a common detective's authority, you know. And even a police chief can't compete with that type of power.
I know, but someone has to make a change to that power structure. Lives have been lost here, and the department is fabricating a survivor's accounts of what happened. Surely you see why I feel we need to do something about it, right?
Perhaps, but an eager lion can be seriously injured going in to attack a zebra. You understand. Sometimes the lion needs to practice patience to hunt down its prey.
What do you mean by that? Because if you are suggesting we sit back and be patient, assuming the truth will come out, well, how long will that take, considering the department has compromised the investigation? This could end up being a cold case due to this decision.
What you mean by that is there is another investigation that I am conducting. The chief is not aware of it, nor the FBI or any private investigators. I am telling you this because we want the summer film. But this will take some time. I got an information about a person of interest. The department doesn't know who this is yet. The chief will announce it tomorrow. Then they will give their report to the news station.
Could you share that with me? Since we want the same thing?
Well, there is a man identified as Brian Koberger from Pullman, Washington. He apparently was spotted in surveillance, driving a white Hyundai Elantra near the home the night of the murders. Washington State Police tipped the department about Brian, and he is currently being tracked.
So the suspect is not from Moscow? Why would he murder those housemates when he resides in another state? He had to have a link to them in some way, right?
The motive, from my perspective, is centered around an obsession.
It doesn't seem to add up to me though, Cynthia. Is there any link to the housemates? I mean, it seems random to me. He has to have some link. Dylan never mentioned a stalker or anyone that they would know was targeting them. There are many white Hyundai Elantras driving around.
I'm not finished. There is more. I discovered that Miss Goncalves' ex-boyfriend also had a white Hyundai Elantra. Or to be accurate, the vehicle was owned by his parents. Now this ex-boyfriend did reside in Moscow.
Really? That causes all types of confusion. The surveillance is key. We need to get the license plate and possibly identify the killer in the vehicle. Or at least track their path in surveillance.
Well, John, the surveillance is being examined by a department that is covering what the murders. What do you think will come about from that?
I agree. But then again, isn't it the surveillance that spotted the vehicle, which is assumed to be the killer? Don't we need to examine the surveillance?
A white Hyundai Elantra is significant. Someone who drove that vehicle is involved somehow. Yet, we will not rely on surveillance analysis. Because the department is using this as a threat to the suspect. So we will do the opposite. You understand?
I think that makes sense.
The surveillance is arbitrary to me. I know you may not understand.
Arbitrary? I would have to disagree with that. I would say it's perhaps the most important piece of evidence we have, right?
That is because you are an American, no offense. You guys love to watch videos, your brains consume everything you see in the video, but do not use critical thinking skills. Perhaps not you, Detective John, but it's still a part of your subconscious thought process. It's arbitrary because it doesn't provide evidence of a crime committed. It doesn't show anyone entering the home or exiting the home. Therefore, it serves a minimal purpose to me.
No offense taken, sort of. I would agree with that sentiment a bit. But how can we have a description of the vehicle if not...
Okay, listen to me carefully. We already have the description. Now it's time to track down the individuals who drive that vehicle. I'm from Romania. We don't waste time watching videos. It's a video. Simple. Examining the surveillance is pointless. We only extract the vehicle from it. Time would be wasted examining, rather, we track the physical vehicle instead. At this point, I have two individuals who drive this vehicle, Kohlberger and the ex-boyfriend. No need to examine the surveillance anymore. In fact, the surveillance will not give us a motive, but the individuals driving that vehicle in surveillance will give us a motive, you understand. Don't examine the surveillance, examine the individuals. If you spot a vehicle in surveillance and presume it's driven by a killer, why continue to examine that surveillance? You have the vehicle, now go find the killer. You want to find the killer, sitting at some desk watching videos, you understand.
You put it that way, now I completely understand. So your method is straightforward, I like that.
We have to go with the physical vehicle and possession of it. We have the person of interest, Brian Kohlberger, and then we have the ex-boyfriend.
Jane believes he is involved. The victims had called him at least 10 times that night. Do you believe he is involved, or even the killer?
Don't ask me that. I'm here to only provide you with important information. You are the detective, remember. When we compare the two men, a motive is what we look for. Brian Kohlberger would appear to have an obsession, such as stalking someone or many of the girls. The ex-boyfriend would possibly have a similar motive with Miss Goncalves. Kohlberger is from another state, while the ex-boyfriend is from that very state and knew everyone in the home. I tracked this ex-boyfriend, and the Hyundai Elantra was spotted near the victim's home. It was parked at a home on King Road. This close proximity would allow the ex-boyfriend to monitor all of the victim's activities. It gives him a great view of the home from King Road.
Do you have any physical proof to display at this moment? I want to keep this for my personal case file. I would greatly appreciate it.
I do have it. I will show it to you. But keep in mind, you are not on the case anymore. This evidence is to be kept confidential, between you and me, you understand.
Yes, ma'am, but you do realize Joe and Jane are also working on this investigation, right? I can't keep this from them. You have my word. We will keep this confidential.
You're a man of integrity. I honor your word. I will oblige. But a few words of wisdom, Detective John. What I would suggest to you is to make a decision right here and right now. Either you continue to work as a detective or you turn in your badge. If morality is what you care about, I know you would turn in your badge. But if you do that, there is no turning back. I have a daughter as well, so I understand the concern. If you ask my personal opinion, yes, I believe the survivors are involved. If you were to ask most people, they would believe that. But when your hands are tied, you first attempt to negotiate. If the negotiation fails, then you attempt to cut your hands free. Do you understand?
I understand. Listen, Jane is currently carrying out a secret investigation. We feel this is the best way to get some form of tangible evidence to the public. Joe and I will take our assignment on the east side, but we have to stay focused on this investigation as well.
I understand. Check your inbox tomorrow evening. It will contain the evidence you seek. Remember, the lion needs to practice patience.
Okay, thank you very much. You don't know how much your cooperation means to us and this investigation.
Think nothing of it, Detective John. The old man has lost the fire in his eyes, but has had his share of battles. Do not take it as being a coward. Take it as passing the torch in his own stubborn way. Perhaps in the future, you might be sitting in that chair and forced to make those tough decisions. Until we meet again, farewell.
Man, she's way more stubborn. Definitely not getting on her bad side. The chief was right though. They have a different way of getting justice than us mere detectives, it seems. Patience is not one of my virtues, unfortunately. I guess it's time to try it out. We might have reached the exit in that tunnel. This is the chaos sector.